Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and today I'm here with a bit of an experiment, something I've not done before. I've tried to do a bit of research and failed on it, and I'll explain that as I go along, but I'm going to try and do something. For those of you who follow me on Facebook, I might have done it on Instagram as well, I can't remember. You will have seen that I've been making these for myself, which basically I've made 4 traveller's notebook standard size journals so I can take them with me. Now the purpose of this is I'm trying to doodle. I'm not comfortable with doodling because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, although we're battling that one as well, but I'm fascinated by doodling. Now I travel a lot sometimes. It's like in about 2 months' time, I'm away for like three weeks. And when I travel, if I'm staying in hotels, which is normal, I'm not really a TV watcher. I'll watch YouTube on my iPad. But to be honest with you, I always take something to do with me. And I want to take stuff that's not going to be hugely heavy and hugely bulky. And I can't take my art journals with me because it's just too much. So I thought, right. So I've made these 4 little traveller's notebooks. And what I've done is I made them out of like mixed media paper, and I've just made some backgrounds. Now what I've done is as you know, I like Dyan Reaveley, so I sort of use her technique for quite a bit of these. I used her paints on these pages, but I did use my own stencils and my own masks and my own stamps with these. So I've made 2 in this style. So of course I can go in and I doodle, I can do stuff over the top of these. There's another one with that style as well. Where is it? There you go. I really like that style. So I've come in and I've done some bright and bold backgrounds, and these, once they're fully doodled, maybe I'll then put a figure on them, or maybe I'll put words into them. So they're going to mature, they're going to become something else, which is why you'll note I put a fabric spine down the back, because I sewed them in. Although I did find that even though the cover is covered in Mod Podge, which would have sealed it, while I was putting the inks and the paints and stuff on, it was soaking into the stitch holes and then soaking into the core between the layers of Mod Podge. So once I'd finished them, they were dry, I put a spine on here just to make sure, because these are going to take in and out and they're going to be around for a long time. What was this one I did? Okay, this one was actually done with like an ink picket technique. I did a video recently on this, I think. I'll put it in the description box. And in the description box, there'll be, I think it's called Fabulous Inky Backgrounds. The ones that I was inspired by Shinuki Art to do. So I've done one of these because I like this. And I've seen someone, what was their channel called? It's called Creative Cove, where she goes in and that's probably a bad page to show you, this one. She go in and actually go around the different patches and almost like a reverse colouring book technique. And then the last one, this one, I've gone in with watercolours and I've literally put watercolour on. As you can see, these are just purely, utterly backgrounds. Not spectacular, not meant to be spectacular, because this is where I'm going to come in with stencils and black pens and white pens, and I'm going to build these up into something else. Now there are 4 books here which I want to travel with, but there is a 5th book that I made that is actually going to go into my day-to-day planner, and once this is in its cover, I'll probably slip this in with these if I'm traveling, because this one I've made out of dots and the back of the pages are plain. And the reason I've done this one is because I really like the look of Zentangling, although I think it would push my anxiety over the edge. But I like some of the patterns and designs they do. So when I see something I like a square or a shape, I'm going to make a note of it in here. So I've got a reference, so I don't have to keep going back in and forth to my imagination to bring it up. So now, I need to have a cover for these. Now, as you will know, because you are a subscriber on my channel, I have one of these. It's a Midori. I use it. This is how I organise my life. This is how I keep 3 jobs and a website and design work all in control. This is how I handle my life. I also have another one this is like my mind dump. This is where projects for future videos go. This is where the coffee and Ceri ideas go. This is where the colour combinations go. This is a dump. So these two, as you can see, are tomes. Now I have had several questions in the past of, Ceri, can you show us how to make one of these covers? These covers are made out of leather. I ordered them on Etsy from someone who makes them out of leather. They are not the cheapest thing in the world, but these will last me my entire life and probably get passed on to someone else, these covers. However, I took on board that you want to learn how to make one of them, so it's on my list of videos to do. I just have to work out how I'm going to do the video, not using leather, in a way that's accessible to everybody. Now, I have seen someone, I think it might have been Nicole actually, at Relax Cut Glue. She did one out of a laminated piece of artwork and made a cover out of that. So I'm trying to construct a video in that I will give you options on how to make one of these. It's just, be a little patient with me, guys. I don't want to put a video out there that isn't of the quality I want it to be. So bear with me, it is coming, I just haven't done it yet. It's probably going to be a couple of months yet. So, I didn't really want to spend the money for a leather cover, so I had a little look around. And as you've just heard me say, I'm inspired a lot by the artwork of Dyan Reaveley. Actually, I'll put a link to her channel in the description box as well. She's one of the designers for Ranger. Does a fabulous job. Love her. Love to do a workshop with her one day, to be honest with you. And I sort of have been inspired by her as far as these go. But as you heard, I'm using my own stencil designs, and I'll be using my own foam stamp designs in there. But I want to give a nod to the original inspiration because she's fabulous. Now, Dyan has something which is a cover that you can, she calls it a no limits cover, and it's one of these. Now, Dyan, like me, travels quite a bit, and she travels with a bundle like this. In fact, I think she got more than one bundle like this. Now, what she's come up with, and as you can see, this cost £9.99. I bought it from Art from the Heart here in the UK, although I know they're in America. And what these are, is these are a canvas, and I think it's got a card core to it. And this is an inexpensive version of a Midori cover for this size TN Traveller's Notebooks. Now, she's made them in white. You can buy them already decorated from her with her own designs, but the white ones are designed so that you can paint them up. They're meant to carry paint. They're also meant to do a few other things, right? This is a new one in a packet. I've already started prepping one, which is this, so I can show you better. I have two. Don't know why I have two. Probably because I'm going to do two different sorts. Goodness knows what I'm going to do in the future. So, their canvas, quite a hard-wearing canvas. I'm imagining looking here, there's a core of something in the middle of there, but I don't know whether it's card, whether it's fabric, what it is. They're stitched, and she has been very honest with everyone. She said, these are meant to, with use, they get softer so they end up like fabric. They will fray around the edges, because the whole thing she wanted was, she wanted the covers to look well used and loved. Now, as I said, you can buy these already decorated up by Dyan. However, I wanted to do my own, because I'm an artist, I wanted to play as well. Now, they are meant so that these, and we'll put it together at the very end, these are meant to go in there, and as it softens over time, they will then soften down, and this will round out a bit. So you get the idea. They will link through the elastics you've seen in there. So my problem was, I thought, okay, I need to watch a tutorial to find out how one of these is actually painted up. Couldn't find a Dyan Reaveley tutorial anywhere on how to do these. I searched every combination I could think of on YouTube, couldn't find it. I did find two other YouTubers who had attempted to do these with very good results, I may add. But they were like me, they just basically had a go. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a go, because I don't know. So, I'm not going to link their videos, because to be honest with you, I can't remember where they are. So, this is what we've got. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the closure loop out of here because I don't want to get paint all over it. This one is actually in. Now, on a Midori, sometimes they've got this clip on them, sometimes they're knotted. My ones have knots on them, this doesn't, so it does mean that I can't take these out. I don't really want to get paint on them, so I had to think of, I don't mind there being a little bit of paint on them, but I didn't want them really messy. So I thought I had to come up with something. So I got a drinking straw. It's a paper drinking straw. I cut it down this size, and then I took a craft knife. As you can see, I opened it up and I thought, right, if I do this, if I thread, this is not the easiest thing to do, guys, but I think what this will do is it not only will protect the elastic, it will actually mean that I can lift it out of the way easier. Let's see if I can just loop that around the edge. As I said, it's not the easiest thing to do with cardboard, but I try not to use plastic unless I really have to. So there you go. So I've actually put that around the centre, and I'm just going to grab a couple of little bits of washi. I've got some stuck to my bookcase there, just so it holds it closed. I mean, this is not a permanent thing. This is just while I'm painting. Now, something I couldn't work out whether I needed to do or not is I don't know whether this canvas has been prepared ready for painting or whether it is just raw canvas. So again, I tried finding out and I couldn't. So other than contacting Dyan, and I know Dyan was in the States when I picked these up, so I couldn't drop her a message or anything as part of her Facebook group. I couldn't get a message to her, so I thought the woman is over there working, let's leave her work. So basically, that gives me something to pick it up with. It saves the elastic getting really mucky. I'm going to get paint on these, I know I am. Anyway, I digress. So I didn't know whether this had been treated or not. So what I did is I came in and I gave it a coat with clear gesso. Now, I did that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I wanted to make sure that it's got a tooth or something to grab the paint. I think it would already have had that because it's canvas, but not knowing what the core of this is, I wanted some kind of barrier between wet mediums that I put on the inside and out and the centre, just erring on the side of caution because I just didn't know. So that's already been done. I just brushed it on. It's dried overnight. And remember, this is going to get softer and softer and softer. So what am I going to be using on it? I'm going to be using acrylic paints. I'm not using Dyan's paints. I mean, I do have Dyan Reaveley's paints. These are the paints that I actually do the backgrounds with, but I'm just going to use regular acrylic paints to decorate this up, and fingers crossed it worked. Now, the question is, what sort of design am I going to do? Well, this month, and this is July, I did a colour combination for a Facebook group called Makers of Mixed Media Art, an artist group, and this is what I made with the colours, which were lime green and aqua, and I used some copper and I used terracotta, and I really loved these. These were bright and fresh and friendly, and I thought I'm going to use the same colour scheme here, although because it's not part of that Facebook group, I can actually add any other colour I want to these. And I thought that's what I'm going to do. So the acrylics I'm using Amsterdam yellowish green, which is as close as I got to lime green. The original challenge was, the original colour combination was chartreuse. I couldn't find chartreuse anywhere, so that's where we've got this. I have this one, which is sea aqua, and we'll deal with the rest when we get along to it. Now, I've got a messy mat because I'm going to get messy, and I'm going to use baby wipes for this. As you know, I don't normally use baby wipes unless they are the perfect thing to use for the project I'm working on. In my opinion, this is the perfect product for this. So I'm going to bring my ceramic tile in, good old ceramic tile I use for everything. I do have my damp cloth here to wipe my hands and stuff. So I'm just going to come in and add paint. And that sounds a little scary to me. So, as I said, I don't know how this is going to work, guys. I've seen some really beautiful ones done. I just wish there was more tutorials on it. Maybe Dyan has done them on maybe Patreon or something like that. Or if someone has found a tutorial by Dyan Reaveley herself on how to do these, can you please put a link in the comments? And if you can't do that, send me a private message or something, because I'd be intrigued to see how it was really done. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm rubbing it into the canvas. Now, I'm using a baby wipe because I don't want to get so much paint on here that it takes forever to dry. Now, I do know I'm going to be stopping and starting with this video because I'm going to dry periodically with a hairdryer. So hopefully I'm rocking everything too much. So anyway, this is the aim of this experiment for me. I want to make sure I get the edges as well, because it'll annoy me if I see not the right colour on the outside. Now, I'm not sure that I'm doing the same colour combination on the inside or not. We'll do that. We'll make that decision once we've done the outside. So hopefully everyone's doing well. I am. It's been a little bit of an emotional week this week. We've had 2 funerals to go to. But that's part of life. So, but we're doing well. It's a bit brutal on your baby wipes rubbing canvas, I must admit. I usually keep my baby wipes, dry them, and I'm going to use them for a project in the future. I think these are probably not going to make it because they're already falling to pieces, so I'm going to have to use a few more than normal. But as I said, I didn't want to add too much paint on here because my instinct is to come in with a paintbrush, and if I do that then I'll have more of a build-up. Right, I'm going to use the Amsterdam yellowish green now. So this is fun. I like the idea of having my own artwork in my own cover, and I don't mind if it's bright and garish. I like colour. I do like colour. So I'll be happy to get these on the go. I don't know how long this is going to take to dry. I will also need to make a decision once it's done. Do I seal it in some way? That was another question I'd quite like answered. My instinct would be I'd like to put some Mod Podge on it or put matte medium on it. It may well be matte medium, to be honest. Yeah, just to make it a little more robust for travel, to be honest, more than anything. I know that when acrylic paint dries, it's effectively a plastic, but I'd like, I don't know, I'd just like it to be sealed in, and I don't know whether that's my nature for stuff, or I don't know. I'm just going to come along these edges because I know if I don't do them, I'm going to worry about them later on, and then I'm going to find a little bit, yeah, you know what's going to happen. Then I'm going to mess around with it once it's all finished. So if I do it now, then I know it's done. So, right, now the other colours I'm going to use within this, I'm going to allow myself to use white. I'm going to use black, white, black for blending, and then we'll see where we go, because I don't really want to put green into red into this, because I don't want it to look like a Christmas journal, which it's not a Christmas journal at all. So get that in there. Right, so I think I've got a reasonable base. Am I in shot? I am. I hadn't thought once to think about looking at that. I think I want to add some white into this now, for no other reason than I want to try and blend some of those edges across. Shall I use white acrylic or white? No, I'll use white acrylic. I was wondering whether I should use white gesso. So just a little bit of, this is Studio Acrylics High Viscosity by Pebeo. Don't ask me, don't really know how to say that. I'm going to be at the NEC, the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham in November, at a couple of big shows because I'm working up there, and I'm going to go to this Pebeo because I was there last year and I went and bought some paints. I'm going to buy some more, and I'm going to get someone on that stand to pronounce that for me. I'm going to attempt to get them to let me do it on video so I can share it with the world, because the amount of people who can't say that word or are uncertain of have they said it correctly, which is understandable because that's exactly how I feel. Right, so I'm doing what I would normally do in a piece of art. I'm pushing and pulling, putting stuff into the background, pulling stuff forward. As I said, I'm going to be stamping. I'm probably going to be using stencils on here as well, just basically making it my own. I just want to make sure that it goes into the ridges there. Okay, liking that. I want to come back with a little bit more of this now I've got that in there. So I've got a different value of this colour because it'll have a little bit of white with it. I'm going to work that back into those areas to give it a little bit of shading. Okay, I'm not hating this. That's good. As I said, it's an experiment, and it's like, I thought, you know what, for £9.99, which would probably be about $11 or $12, and I know you can get these in the States because Ranger is in the States, so I know you guys can get them. As I said, I shop at Art from the Heart. Actually, that's another link I'll put in the description box. Art from the Heart. It's a shop, I think it's in Harrogate. Maybe it's not. It's up north anyway. I'm a bit geographically challenged, so ignore me on that front. Is it in Harrogate? It might be in Harrogate. It's north of England anyway. So I will put the link to the shop. The shop is owned and run by Dyan Reaveley's son, Ben. Great guy, good customer service. I get majority of my Tim Holtz supplies from there. I get my art journals from there. I get my Dyan Reaveley stuff from there, obviously. Right, so I think that's where I'm at the moment. I think what I want to do is I'm going to pause you for 2 seconds, and I just want to dry this before I go on to the next stage, because I want to make sure that things are dry in between. Right, how messy have I been on the inside? Not that bad, actually. I'm not sure what we'll do about the inside. I obviously want to decorate it, but I don't know which. So, right, bear with me. I'm going to take 2 seconds to clean my hands up, and I'm going to give this a bit of a dry with my hairdryer, just to get it so that it's not sopping wet, and that will give me a more realistic view of what the colour will be. Okay, so that's a good start. I now want to start putting some visual texture in. Now, I've thought, right, I want to do something, and I quite like this colour. Sort of goes with the freshness of what's on here already. I did toy with the idea of using this colour, but as I'm going to be using black as an accent colour, I thought I'd steer away from that. So, now, it wouldn't be me if I didn't use bubble wrap. So I'm just going to use some bubble wrap and put just little patches of interest on here. I'm going to use this colour paint, which is turquoise by Arteza. A little bit of it out. I don't need a huge amount of it. I'm going to use a credit card for that, or a store card. Spread it out a bit. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Spread it out a bit so it's a thinner layer. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to put this bubble wrap down. Where's the bubble wrap on that side? And I'm just going to add hints of it. As I said, I don't want massive amounts of this, but I don't mind the odd piece of it. Just adding to that interest. And I think that's all I need on there. Just wanted a little bit. Right, I'm going to have to find something to clean that up with. Right, not large bubble wrap, but I've got this. It's a silicone ice cube tray. You're bound to have seen me use it in the past. I use it quite often to put circles on. I like the fact that it's uniform. So I'm going to pull in some of that white acrylic paint again. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That was like nails down a blackboard, wasn't it? So I'm going to spread this out now. I would normally, if I'm doing this sort of stuff, use my gel plate, which I'm going to be doing afterwards anyway, because I need to use it as my ink pad for my stamps. So I'm just putting the stuff down there. I'm going to come in dip this several times so it's actually got marks on there. And I'm going to come in and put pieces. I don't mind if they're not perfect. That's actually better if they're not perfect. Yes, let's do 6 of them up there. I think I want something going across there as well. I think that's okay. Do I? I wonder whether I'd like this a little more pronounced. That's better. Okay, so I've got stuff going on there, which is fine. I feel something around here. I'm not trying to cover up the Dylusions logo, but I do want something in that corner. See, I'm terrible. I say one thing and then I fuss around and get something else going. Right, again, this can go to one side to dry. So, all nice and dry. I am quite surprised at how quickly this dries. Now, I probably shouldn't because it's canvas, and I think there's a cardboard or an absorbent, maybe some sort of batting between, so it's really absorbent. Liking that so far, so now I need to start doing stamping. Now, these are my foam stamps. I am horrible at remembering names. I can't even remember my friends' names. I'm lucky if I know who I am. So I'm going to put the links in. I think this one is called Coded Mesh. This one is obviously something numbers. And I can't remember what this is called. Anyway, I will put a link, open up the link, and all of my foam stamps will be in the link on the PM Artist website. I've got quite a few, so I use them as backgrounds, I use them for texture, I use them for mixed media. So have a look and see them there. You will visually be able to see what they are because Patricia and Mariah at PM Artist Studio have already stamped them. So when you look at the black stamp, you're not just looking at this, you're looking at what it stamps out as well. So for this, I'm actually going to pull in my 5x7 gel plate purely because I like to use this as an ink pad to actually pick this up. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And I've got some tissue paper here as well. So I'm going to use tissue paper to do the cleanup on there as well. Now, first things first is I want to put the mesh into the background. Now I'm going to use a metallic for this, okay? Only because I used the metallic on the original tags and I don't need a huge amount of it. It's only a small area. I'm going to use my 4-inch speedball brayer. I'm just going to brayer it on a bit. So I need it to be a thick enough coat so I can pick up. So if I touch this down, you can see when it's got paint on it. I'm going to come in and I'm going to press it down. I'm pressing not too hard, but I'm pressing enough that it's got some sort of resistance. I don't want it squared right in the middle. Now these stamps can be used for other mediums as well, like inks and stuff like that. So I'm just using them this way because this is how I'm using them today. I like that. Okay, just enough interest now. There's stuff left on here. Actually, let's just do that. Let's move this up. Just do a bit of a clean up in aisle 9 here and just stamp it onto there. This rubber stamp, foam stamp, sorry, will now have a coating of acrylic paint on it. I don't want the acrylic paint to dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that damp cloth of mine and I'm going to put it face down on the cloth, and that means it will keep the paint moist while I'm working on the rest of the cover, and then as soon as I take my next break, I'll just clean it off. Right, that's just, oh, it's becoming lovely, isn't it? So I'm using Terracotta by Arteza again. And I'm going to use the numbers. Actually, that's an idea. I will link the original video as well, where I did the tags, just in case you're interested in seeing how I made the tags, because these are obviously made of card and they're made for ephemera. So I'll do that. I'll link that as well. There's going to be a heck of a lot of links, isn't there? Okay, so coming in now, it's been made so that when you stamp it down, the numbers are in the right orientation. Just going to make sure it's correct there. I want to put a strip down the side of there because that's the way my brain is wired. Oh, I'm happy with that. That's way neat. I want to do a similar thing over here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the whole thing. I'll do a little bit down here. I feel I want to put a piece up here, but it doesn't, again, doesn't have to be large. Pop that in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the stamp around. I'm going to line it up next to it and press again. And what that will do is give me a block of numbers. And I think I want some down this spine. Now, this is not going to stamp perfectly because this area is ridged. Not bad though. I'm happy with that. Right. Again, I'm going to stamp this off. So, right. So I'm liking where I'm at now. Now I want to do one more bit of stamping, and it's with these circles. I love circles. I absolutely love circles. So I'm going to come in and do this with black. Bit of a dodgy colour to be stamping with because I'll end up with black everywhere unless I'm careful. So a little bit of black, probably a little bit more black than that. I'm being overly cautious. Right, spray that out. So again, now because this isn't all the way to the edge, I can stamp this in any direction I choose. And I think I'm just going to go for it, go right by there. Oh, that looks fierce. A little bit down by there. Quite like a little bit here. Yes, I do like threes. I find that aesthetically pleasing. So that's why you'll see me use threes quite often in my artwork and in my pieces. A little bit up there. I'd quite like to put a bit in there, but I don't want the whole thing, so I can bend the foam stamp slightly. I think that looks fabulous. Is there anywhere else I want to put some? Actually, I'd like to put a little bit by there. And again, I'd like to put a little something on the spine, but I'm going to bend the spine and see if I can rock this over the top. There you go. Okay, and I don't mind that there's a little bit where the edge of the sponge caught because, of course, I'm flexing this back and forth. That's fine. That's a little bit of grunt. Try again, stamp that off on something, and then this goes on to a damp cloth. So I think we've got to stop. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to dry this off completely. I'm going to clean everything down, and I'm going to give it a little bit of thought before I come back as to whether I do the other side, or whether I do the other side using the same techniques but different colours and just show it to you. I just need to see how long this video is, to be honest with you, because it doesn't need to be a million years long. And also I want to do the same technique. I'm going to do the same techniques on the other side. Do you truly need to watch it? So back in 2 seconds with some decisions, and maybe I will have done the other side of the cover just with a different colour scheme. But if I do that, I will just talk you through it. Okay? Take care, see you in a second, guys. So this is all nice and dry. I'm really, really happy with it. I'm so pleased with that. And I thought, right, you know what? I'm not going to do the inside separately to you. I'm going to do it with you, because if I don't show you what I do, I know I'm going to get comments from people going, oh, Ceri, I wish you'd film the inside. And we're all adults. You know what? That's what those up buttons are for. At this point, fast forward to the end or pause. Come back tomorrow, make yourself a cup of coffee, do whatever you wish. It's your choice whether you watch or not. Just know that I'm doing similar techniques as I've just done. Well, actually, probably identical techniques to what I've just done, but with different colours. So I'm trying to find something that will protect this a little bit. Not the end of the world if I get paint on the good side or the front side, but I'd rather be a little more cautious this time. Right. I'm not going to use the same colours. I've decided, because I like colour, I'm going to use orange, because orange would go with this. I'm going to use a cream, because a cream would keep it all nice and light. And I'm going to use a yellow, because a yellow is in the same kind of genre family as this. I'm going to use the same techniques. What's this one called? I think this stamp's called Peculiar Pebbles. And this might be called Line Dot or Dash Dot or something. Anyway, as I said, the link's going to be in the description box, guys. Just so you have a look at that. If you like the look of foam stamps and you think you would find them useful, be more than happy for you to get them. Also, if you do buy anything on PM Artist's website, when you get to checkout, if you type in this exactly as you see it with the uppercase and the lowercase, this will get you an extra 10% off your order over $35, I believe it is. It's quite good. So if you're putting a nice order in, 10% adds up. If you're having them shipped internationally, which is the way I have to buy them, then you'll find that 10% sometimes really helps bring down the shipping charges. So anyway, just thought I'd let you know that. So I'm going to turn this over. As I said, if I get stuff on this side, I do. It's a working art piece. So I'm going to come in with the orange now. I've already done the edges with green, so I'm going to try and take the paint to the edge, but not over, not going distressed. Actually, this time I'm going to just use my gel plate as my palette, purely because it's already out, it's already being used. So I'm just going to use the orange. What was the orange? It's called Bright Orange. It's a Deco Art Americana. I'm just going to come in and I'm putting the darkest colour down first, for the simple reason then all of the colours that follow it will actually then lighten it up a bit. Not that I will really want to cover the orange up, but I know that the journal covers, the art journal covers in here are really bright as well. I'd rather things don't really clash, and I think the first insert has got a red cover. So let's not put too much bright orange next to bright red, shall we? So yeah, I'm very pleased with these. I'm very happy with this. I'm glad I bought a second one, because there may come a time when I want to change this up, or I have a project that also could go into one of these, like maybe I'm doing another journal and another journey, and I want to put my traveler's notebook in it instead of taking my entire planner with me. So yeah, I'm very happy with these, and they're very affordable. I mean, £9.99. That's in this day and age. That's a nice cost. That's not hugely expensive. I'm going on to yellow now. This is transparent. Chose a transparent so that the white will show through behind. Show through it from behind. Yeah, words are hard sometimes, aren't they, Darcy? Yes, they are. Right, come in with the yellow. Put this on, and as you can see, it's quite a pale yellow when it goes over the white, and that's the nature of a transparent. It's affected by the colour behind it, or the substrate or the surface it's being put upon. So yes, I've got ideas for how to show you how to make one of these Midori type covers, and I'm considering that I could potentially use this sort of idea of canvas over something else, or fabric over something else. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create something that will give you options in the video. So I'll just show you one version of it. I will try several. Right, what was this? Deco Cream Matte Pastel Yellow. I like this. It's almost like my favourite colour, buttercream. So yes, so the video will come out at some point. As with all my videos, I like to do a bit of research. I like to play. I like to find alternatives. I like to see if there's a quicker, simpler way to do something. I try also to eliminate equipment that you wouldn't normally have within your craft stash, purely because I'm a great believer in use what you've got, unless there's no other thing that can do it. So I try to only use stuff I already have, except when there's times when I'm like, you know what, if I buy this bit of equipment, I will use it in the future. So it's that sort of thinking. Right, I'm loving that, like the brightness of it. Do want to come in now with some white, because I like to blend some of this through the edges. Oh, I didn't think what colours I'm going to put onto this, did I? Right, I think I need a new one because this has been ripped up again by the canvas surface. Come on, Mr. Wet Wipe. I'm not used to using wet wipes, and getting them out of the packaging can sometimes be a little challenging. That's nice. So the question is, what colour would I put with this? Now, I do quite like these colours with teal. Ironically, there's stuff on the front would have gone with teal as well. And I'm thinking maybe a bit of teal, maybe a bit of terracotta again, because terracotta would lend itself to these colours. I'm going to come back in and put some of that orange back into this. I seem to have lost the vibrancy of the orange. That's better. Now the white is already on there, it's blending in quite nicely. Yeah, this is a fun thing. I mean, you could do this with the kids, couldn't you? I mean, if you've got some grandchildren or something, you want them to have a little notebook of their own, I think that would be a nice thing to do. Right, so what do I want? Am I in shot? I'm not checked I'm in shot. I do apologise if I've missed any of this. Right, I do quite like the idea of some sort of brown in this. So I think I am going to pull in the terracotta. Not because I need to be matchy-matchy with the front. I don't. But I'd like to have some streaks of this. Like that. Just not even attempting to blend it in, but literally just swiping it. This is fun. Should have done this a long time ago. Could have saved myself a fortune on Midori covers. But then one was a gift, I must admit, and it was a very precious gift. And the other one, why did I get the other one? I think it was royalties from something, and I wasn't expecting the royalties. So I went, you know what, I'm going to treat myself to a second one, because I was keeping all my ideas and my brain dump stuff. This is just white now. I was keeping it in little notebooks, and I was getting very frustrated because I just was. So that's why I thought, you know what, I could do with another one of these covers. So that's why I bought the second leather one. But they are an investment. Seriously, if you're looking at getting a Midori cover out of leather, be prepared to have a bit of a shock. Right. Now, I wanted to put turquoise in here, or do I want to put teal? Now, I want quite a dark punch of something. Let's have a look. What's this colour? Dark teal. See, the turquoise is just a bit too pretty for me. Although actually that wouldn't be bad. What did I do on the front? Maybe do a little bit of each. There you go. How's that for a compromise, people? So a little bit of dark and a little bit of white light. And get myself a clean baby wipe. Now I think this time I'm going to do the same dragging thing. It's looking a bit southwestern, but that's not a problem to me, but that's sort of what this is feeling like now. A little bit down there, not to ever be seen. Okay, I think that's enough of that, Griffiths. Let's pull back on that. Right, this lot needs to be picked up and this lot needs to be cleaned up. Right, where do I want to go from here? I want to go in with, I like to put dots and stuff on here. And as we know, I like the old bubble wrap things, so I'm thinking of potentially using, because I've got those dots there that are quite uniform. I do have a piece of, it's like the larger bubble wrap here, and I think I want to come in with white Or do I want to come in with the cream? Questions. That's going to be really brilliant. That's going to be, I think that's going to be too subtle. Even for me, that's going to be too subtle. So again, a little bit of white acrylic. Not a lot. We're only doing very, very small amounts. I'm going to come in. This is just a bit of packaging, bubble wrap. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with the lighter one. I would never have seen it. Now, I could obviously have put on a heavier layer of paint, but I wanted it background. Oh, and pop goes the weasel. There you go. Right. Okay, I think I'm going to stop you for 2 seconds again. Dry this off completely, then come in and do the stamping with the stamps. While I'm drying it, it'll give me some thinking time as to what colours I want to use on here. Back in 2, guys. So, all nice and dry, ready to go. I'm really loving this. It's funny because I did it in this orientation, but thinking about it, I can actually have it in that orientation as well. So, it's really quite nice. I can play around with this as I see fit. So, I've had a think. I think the colour I want to use is Country Red. It's not an in-your-face red. It's quite a dark red, and I like that. And I'm going to use it with, what are these called? I think these are called Peculiar Pebbles. You would think as a designer I would remember my own products, wouldn't you? Yeah, never going to happen. Why are you stopped coming out of here? There you go. I think the little ball must have got stuck in it. I tend, if they don't have a ball in them, I put a little pearl in them, you know, one of those inexpensive ones you buy in jewellery making, just because I like to have something inside there to aggravate the paint. Right, braying that out. Putting some on here, just making sure I've got a reasonable coverage. I'm going to come in now. I like to go off the page, as you know. Pressing down with an even pressure, and I'm actually moving my fingers around at the same time. That's lovely. I'm going to get a bit just across the bottom there. Lovely. I think by there. Just a little bit on the top here. I need to remember that these two pieces are never going to be seen together, because obviously they're going to have the journals between them. Right, let's clean this off this counter before I put anything down on it. Bit of a clean up. So yes, I would recommend doing these covers. I'm enjoying these. I know these covers have been around for a while, so I'm sure they're still going to be around. I mean, I bought mine last week, so, and it's, what month is it? It's July 2023. So I know that the covers are still available at the time of making this video. Just clean that up. At the time of making this video, what was the name of them? They were called No Limits, and that's a code they've got under the barcode. Their Dylusions Dyalog cover. They're by Ranger. As I said, I bought mine from Art of the Heart. What is it called? Art of the Heart. It must be Art of the Heart. So yeah, I'm having. You can tell I'm tired, can't you? Obviously, losing the plot, number one. Okay, I want to put black into this now, and I'm going to put it in with this one, which I really love. And I'm wondering whether I need to put anything before. No, I think if I put anything else in there, it's going to look too busy. So let's just bite the bullet and do a little bit of black. Now, I don't think I want to pick up the whole thing, so I've sort of brayed out a stripe, as you can see. I'm going to try and pick up along an edge. That's kind of what I was looking for. I don't want the whole block. I just want sections of it. Just put a little bit right down the edge there if I can. A little bit more here. And then I'll pull this over and just pull a bit from the middle outwards. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm not happy that that's on that really weird angle, but that's okay. I'll put it in exactly the same place. How are the odds of that? You know, I think I'm going to do white bubble wrap. I know you're all probably going, Ceri, you've done enough. I'm not sure. I think I want more. I think I want to put the little white bubble wrap pieces in. Now I do have stencils with dots on them. In fact, I think they're called dainty dots. Although I don't really want to use a stencil because I haven't used stencils on any of this. And I'd like to not confuse the issue, but I don't really want to be muddling up too many techniques because goodness knows there's enough links in that description box as it is. We don't need to be adding more. Just checking up, none on the other side. I've done well. I think though I am going to come in and I'm going to put white bubble wrap dots on it purely because I want to. So let me see if I can find the white bubble wrap, see if I can find the bubble wrap and get the white paint, putting these face down on the cloth. Yep, there's always a good supply in Ceri's house. Everything seems to come with bubble wrap nowadays. But it does for me anyway. Right, so I think I'm going to use white. As I said, I don't know, I just want, my instincts are telling me white dots. And I have learnt over the years to listen to my instincts because that's why they're there. Right. And what I want to do is kind of link up areas. I'm not sure you're seeing them as well as I am. But I just want to put some in there. Now, you could, of course, come in with markers on this. You could do anything like that you want because, of course, you can draw onto this surface. The thing I would be aware of is if you're going to seal it, which, as I said, I am going to seal this. I'm not sure whether a marker would move. So, right, so I'm at that point. Okay, I think I'm now going to stop and let this dry overnight fully. So here we are again, lovely morning here in Wales. Hopefully this songbird is not distracting you, but I'm finding it very, very pleasant. I did have a shower, but I didn't get all the paint up my nails. Never mind, I'll scrub later. So everything's dry, been dry overnight. I did decide not to seal it with anything. I thought, you know what, acrylic paint is a plastic-based paint. It's going to stand up to time, and if it wears, that's what it's supposed to do. And if it gets damaged in any way, I'll splodge some more paint on it. I'm quite happy with that. So this was the inside. Absolutely love the inside. Part of me wishes it was actually the outside because that looks fabulous. But then I love the outside even more. And that was exactly what I wanted. And if I compare it to the tags, I think I did a pretty good job of matching everything up. And that was my intention, which is really good. So, as you can see, I got rid of the drinking straw. Now, word of warning, remember we have this drinking straw around here held with washi tape. Tear the washi tape off. Do not go in with the scissors, because if you accidentally snip through these you're going to have to be going buying elastics and restringing it yourself. So just be a little careful. I mean, washi tape peels off or tears really easily anyway, so not a problem. So that was just a quick way. It kept the strings relatively clean. I'm not overly bothered now, but you saw the amount of paint I used. If I hadn't have covered them up, I might have had paint all over the place, and I didn't realise that it picks up the colours really well, and that colour picks up the colours well there. So bit of accidental planning. So now remember let's get that out of the way, we took this out. Now this is the closure. You can try and thread it from the outside, but what I do is I tend to fold it in half, push it back through the hole it came through, and it locks into position. So basically that's your closure, and how cool does that look with that? Again, accidental. Love the idea though. Now if you're not familiar with putting one of these together, I just want to run through it. So let me just see if I've got these in the right order. Right, I wanted this sort of background. Is that the front or is that the front? Does it matter? Probably not, because I've made them so I'm just trying to make sure that they are the way I want them. I mean, there isn't an upper or a down, and it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be decorating, using them as I wish. Right, let's leave it like that. Now, there are 2 elastics in this Midori cover. Some of them you will find have a 3rd elastic. It just means there's an extra eyelet at the top or the bottom, and it's a different way of weaving the elastic through. The original way to do these is you find the centre of your insert, you slot it through here, and it's held in place. And that's how it's held in place in there. And obviously, you'd put one through the back one, and then that will be held in place. However, because I want more than 2 in here, I'm going to use elastics. Now, elastics, you can order elastics. I think you're probably even using an elastic band, to be honest with you. I never have, because I bought an accessories pack a while ago and it had some of these in there. And these are exactly the right size and tension. So what you do is you take your one insert. Where's the other painty one? You take your other insert, and by inserts I mean these, the books, right? So those are the centre of both of them. You put the elastic band over the centre of both of them, all the way up to the spine, so that they're at the spine, and then you thread that through the centre. So effectively that now holds 2 in place. Okay, make sure I've got that in the right place, that in the right place. So that gives me that's what's holding it up. There you go. That holds that in place. So I'm going to come in with the second 2 now. Which one do I want first? Let's have that one. I don't mind. Oh wait, that means that's going to be next to that. So I want to put the red one next. So I'm going to find the centre of this one. And I'm going to find the centre of this one. Is that the centre? That doesn't look like the centre. That's the centre. Again, I'm going to put the elastic over both of them. Make sure they're fully in. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to put this through the second elastic. Now, if you wanted to go one step further and you wanted to put more of these in here, you could effectively take this one and this one, put an elastic through, and then you'd have a space in the middle. I'm quite happy with the 4 of them because that's my intention, is to have 4 of them. Now, with use, this cover will soften, and that's what it's intended to do. But as you can see, it holds 4 really easily, with enough space for more if I wanted to put 6 in there. This cover will eventually soften around the spine. My intent is the one I'm making I've made for actually doing the recording of designs. I'm just going to slot that in the middle because I may not always want it in this journal or in this cover. If I'm traveling, I'm going to keep this one and move it back and forth between my planner and this one, and that way I'll always have it with me, so I don't need to be putting it in and out. Now, anyone who's new to this sort of Midori sort of system, or I believe it's the dialogue system that Dyan has made her own, there are other things you can put in here. You can actually get wallets that fit either side for holding papers. You can get plastic pockets that fit in here. You can make your own insert, so it's like a fold of card that will wrap around here, so you can put credit cards in and things like that. So I'm very happy with that. I am incredibly happy with that. So let's just let's take that out because I don't need that in there for the next bit. Come on, out you come, you. So I'm more than happy with this. That gives me something that I can travel with. It inspires me. That just looking at this, knowing that everything on here is mine. Everything I've used is designed by me. Everything within the covers of this Midori is going to be mine. All the pages are mine. So just having this will reaffirm that I am an artist. And on my darker days, or my days where I'm doubting myself, I can look at this and go, you know what? I did that. I made that. So let's open this up. Now, if you buy standard sized inserts, they will come all the way to the edges of here. I made mine and I made them a little bit smaller than the height of the cover, so I'm not on the screen anymore, than the height of the cover, and I did that on purpose because I found in the past if they're at the top, sometimes these get damaged when I throw in my luggage, so I've done it that way. So, front cover, back cover. Inside of the back cover, loving that, and I don't mind that next to the red. Inside of the front cover, don't mind that with the green, and I think it's because the black and the white tie everything together. So literally I've now got stuff to work on, to doodle, to do patterns, to maybe do stamping, maybe do lettering. As I said, I'm going to use some Zentangle patterns in here as well. I mean, I've got my own stencil work in here as well. I can go in and I can utilize those, outline them, put pencil mark, pen in there. I can do white in there. When they're eventually the whole pattern is done, I've done a spread across the page. I could maybe add words. I can put positive affirmations in here. I could put, maybe I could do draw flowers or something, or things, and fussy cut them and then stick them onto the backgrounds. So just stuff, and it's bright and it's joyful, and I love this. It's just beautiful. And I did all of these at the recent Rachel and Bella journal retreat I did, which was lovely because I was away for two and a half days. And this morning I started making these at 6 o'clock on the Wednesday morning. Was it Wednesday morning? It might have been Tuesday morning, but it doesn't matter. So I started at 6 o'clock in the morning. Most of the others were all in bed, and I had the whole craft area to myself. And I sat down and I just methodically made these, and it was such a wonderful experience to just sit and create. Internet there was absolute rubbish. My phone wasn't going, my internet wasn't pinging, my social media didn't need attention. I'd done a bit of preparatory work before I went, so I knew there were no videos to actually edit and upload. Already done them. I could have done with answering some comments, but the internet was so bad, I was like, there was no way. And hotspotting it on my phone was just as bad because there wasn't really phone connection. We were in the middle of nowhere, people. Countryside, converted farm, and it was stunning and beautiful. And I sat and had coffee outside, and I took in the sunshine, and it was just idyllic. And I think all of that emotion translated into what I've created here, so that every time I use this and create, and this is gonna take a while, people. This isn't a 5-minute jobby. This is probably at least a year this is going to take to complete this, if not longer. And this will just remind me of this retreat, of that retreat. And you never know, I may take it with me to my next retreat to work on as we go along. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I liked this Dyan Reaveley cover that you did with acrylics. As you saw, I do have another cover, which I'm going to do another cover. I'm not sure why I'm going to do another cover, but I think I'm going to do another cover. If you want me to do the other cover as a video, please, by all means, let me know in the comments, and I won't jump in to do it. And I will try and do a different cut. Well, I will do a different colour combination. Maybe I'll try and think of like a style, or maybe the next one I won't use stamps, I'll use stencils. So there you go. So hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. I definitely enjoyed that. I know it's a bit of a longer video, but as I said, you guys, you control the controls. If you want to pause, come back in a day or two time, that's fine. You want to fast forward, you want to go straight to the end, you want to stop, go and have coffee, have lunch and come back later. Completely up to you. The amount of my subscribers who said, please just make a video however long you want. I'm making these for you guys. I'm sharing what I know. I'm taking great joy in the fact that I'm gifted enough with a gift to be able to share what I see, what I learn, what I'm inspired by others. And it is absolutely beautiful. Part of my life creates art, and it's due to you guys and my subscribers that enable me to do this. So thank you so much. Anyway, before I burst into tears, let's call this quits. So, thank you for me. I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time. Bye-bye now.